In Minnesota, every employer is required to cover and to have workers' compensation insurance. There's a number of providers who provide insurance for workers' compensation. Some employers are even self-insured, and what that means is that they meet the specific criteria as required under Minnesota law to be self-insured. So many of the bigger companies, they're self-insured, okay? They provide their own insurance, and they keep enough money in the coffers for injuries and accidents that happen. But every employer is required to have insurance. People always ask me, well, am I suing the employer? Am I putting this ma and pa shop out? And I get it. I came from a family-owned restaurant business where my father thought that any claim for workers' compensation was a direct reflection on him and an attack, which it isn't. And now being more learned and knowing in this area, I understand that that's why you have insurance, right? We cover insurance for motor vehicle accidents, for life insurance, for our house, for our boat, and we have it because when accidents or injuries happen, all right? That's why we have it. We have it for those proverbial rainy days, and that's why an employer carries it, okay? And under that, because an employer is required to do it, they are also obligated to provide benefits when there's an accepted injury, all right? And that's oftentimes where we get involved because an employer and insurer may deny a claim, may not be paying the appropriate benefits, but every employer is required to have insurance. Now, if for some circumstance that an employer doesn't have it because they may be a solo employer, or maybe they've had a couple of employees and they didn't realize that they're supposed to have it, or maybe they're just trying to skate around the law, all right? In those circumstances, there is still coverage for injured workers, and that's under what's called the Special Compensation Fund. And that's a part of the, under Minnesota law, that provides insurance for those employers. Now, it's not a kind of, escape jail card, all right? But the Special Compensation Fund is going to step into the shoes of the employer and the insurer. But if they have to pay any money, they're going to pay it with a premium and a penalty that the employer is going to have to pay. So that's why there is an obligation for them to have it. So if an injured worker has been injured and is concerned about whether they're supposed to have it, they should know that they've got coverage. Now, there may be circumstances where if they're an independent contractor or they're not an employee, maybe they're a casual employee, they may not be covered under workers' compensation. But again, this is the reason why you should talk to an experienced work comp lawyer to determine, are you entitled to benefits? Are there benefits available to you? Does the employer have appropriate insurance? Are you suing, or bringing action against the right parties? And so it's always free to call us, talk to us, and we're happy to provide you the advice that you need.